Hey, Nick from Opinion Meter here today to talk to users about the logic menu in Survey Manager. The logic menu allows you to set things like simple branching, advanced branching, piping, and response piping in your surveys. Today we're going to go through a few different scenarios where we'll use the various functions of the logic menu. I've created a survey for this, and to start we're just going to use simple branching. To access the logic menu, you'll click the logic button on the question that you want to implement the logic on. In this case, on my first question, I want to implement simple branching logic. Simple branching logic, as the name implies, is very simple. It's simply if their response is this, then go to this. So in this case, I want to say if the person is a member of our customer loyalty program, I want them to go to question 3. If they say no, but they're not interested, I also want them to go to question 3. But if they say no, but I'd like to become a member, I want them to go to question 2, which will gather some of their information. Now I simply hit save. And I can see that simple branching is now active on this question. Next, I'm going to go down to question 3, and again I'm going to click the logic menu. This time I'm going to use advanced branching logic. To do that, I'm going to select advanced branching at the top, and I'm going to select add rule. Next, I'm going to define the criteria of my rule. So first I'm going to say if their response to question 1 is exactly no and I'm not interested, and the response to question 3 is exactly yes, they would like to take my survey, then let's skip to question 4, which asked them, why weren't you interested in taking part in our loyalty program? And then I'll hit save. Now I need to add a rule for the opposite situation. So I'll say, if they said, yes, they are a member of our loyalty program, and on question 3, they said, yes, I would like to take a survey, then let's skip them to question 5, which says, why were you interested in our loyalty program? Then we'll hit save. Next, we'll add a rule for any failures, which is simply, most likely if the user says no, they don't wish to take the survey, so we'll just say end the survey. This rule should always be set as sort of your catch-all, so you may just say, thanks for expressing interest, or whichever question you feel like people should fall into if they don't meet your advanced branching criteria. Do note that advanced branching is a little more complex. It's possible to have holes in your logic, hence why we have the if no other branching conditions apply skip to option. Now I'm going to hit save. And again, I can see an icon indicating that advanced branching is active on this question. Now I need to add some simple logic to question 4 to make sure that the users of this question don't actually see question 5 as they progress through the survey. So I'll just come here and I'll say automatically skip them to question 6. Now let's set up some response piping on our second page of our survey. On our second page, we ask the customer what products they purchased today, and then we ask them how often they purchase these products. Obviously, we've listed all the potential purchases in both questions, but we only want them to see the products that they selected in question 6 to in question 7. To do that, we're going to use response piping. So we're going to go to the logic menu, and we're going to choose response piping. Now we're going to select add new rule, and we're going to say from question 6, we want to go to question 7, and then we'll hit next, and then we'll hit next again, and then we'll hit done. And now we can see that response piping is active. This means that any options that they select here will be reflected here. It is important to note that with response piping, your response scales need to be identical. It's best to use something like express paste for this, as they need to be in the same order. Essentially what we're doing is saying if they picked option 1 and 3, we will show option 1 and 3 in the matrix question, but not option 2 and 4. So again, make sure that they are in the same order. Now let's do some normal piping logic. To do that, we're going to go to our last page. And here we're asking people their age group and their ethnicity. And so on my 10th question, I've asked them to confirm their responses. I've gone ahead and put in placeholders here for race and age. So now I'm going to go to the logic menu. And I'm going to select piping. And first I'm going to set my question identifiers for age and ethnicity. So I'm going to call this one age and this one ethnicity. Then I'll hit save. And now I need to replace age and ethnicity. So I'm just going to delete race, come over here and drag ethnicity into its place. It will place whatever you drag at the end of the question. So just come over here, copy it, delete it, and put it where it needs to be. So ethnicity is there. And now let's do age. Again, it's at the end of the question. So I just need to come over here, copy it, delete it, and replace my placeholder. Now I simply hit save. And I notice that piping is active. Now let's talk about the situation where the user says this wasn't correct. We may want to send them back to reselect their age and ethnicity. To do that, we need to use advanced branching. So we'll go to the logic menu. We'll choose advanced branching, and we'll say, okay, if the user on question 10 is exactly no, then skip to question 8. So we're going to send them back to question 8. It's important to note that you can only do this with advanced branching. This is the only way to send somebody back through the survey. Now we'll save that rule, and we'll say, if no other conditions are met, then just end the survey. And we'll hit save. So now I can see that both advanced branching and piping are active on this survey. Now I'm just going to quickly brand my survey and distribute it to my device. And now I've assigned my survey to my device. So let's go over to the app and download the survey. Now let's go ahead and progress through the survey and see how everything functions. So first I'll say, no, I'm not interested in the loyalty program. This will skip the question asking for my demographic or my personal information to register me for the loyalty program. Now if I go back, you will get a warning if you try and go back past a question with branching, explaining that it's going to clear your existing responses out. This is because you may change your response profile. So now if I change it to no, but I'd like to become a member, I'll be asked for my information. Next, I'll say no, I wouldn't like to take a quick survey today, and the survey will end. Now let's go back and change some more response values. So I'll say I am a member of the loyalty program. Again, I skip the question about getting my information since I'm already a member, and I'll say yes, I'd like to take the survey today. And now it's saying, awesome, thank you for expressing interest in our loyalty program. Can you tell us what prompted your interest? Now let's move on to response piping. So we'll say today I purchased an energy drink and some snacks and some gum. On the next question, now I'm only rating energy drinks, snacks, and gum. Now if I go back and change that to also include lottery tickets, you can see that lottery tickets now appears in my options as well. Now let's look at piping. So I'm going to say I'm an 18 to 24-year-old white person, and now when I select next, it'll say white and 18 to 24 years old. So if I say no, that's not correct. Well, no, I'm actually 25 to 34. And when I hit next, I'll be taken back to my ethnicity, and it will say I'm white, 24 to 34. Yep, that's correct, and we're done. So this has just been a brief example of the logic menu in Survey Manager, how it works, and what you can do with things like simple branching, advanced branching, piping, and response piping. These are all very powerful tools. They can take a little bit of time to learn how to use properly, but do feel free to contact your opinion meter representative for further information. Thank you very much, and have a great day.